Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to do the assignment for 1.2.5.2, the dumbbell with the 3 holes. Okay, so go ahead and log into your Fusion, get into NetLab. If you are in NetLab, make sure you give yourself at least an hour and a half, because if your reservation time, and even though you might be in the middle of a file, and what happens, what I noticed was once the reservation ends, it restarts the computer. So you'll have to go back in and you may not have your Fusion file saved already. Okay. Okay. So go ahead, go into your IED project folder, and then in here, click on your 1.25 folder, 1.24.5. And then here, when you open up Fusion, it always opens up with an untitled file. Go ahead and save this one. Right? Make sure you save it into your 1.2.5 folder, right? So go home, let me show you again. I'm going to IED, and then I'm going into my 1.2.5 folder. Then from here, I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and save it, save, and then let's name this dumbbell with holes, D-U-M-B-E-L with holes, okay? All right, hit save. Okay, there you go. So I'm going to close out my data panel so maybe you guys can see this a little better on here, maybe. Okay, so now we're going to do, so there are 4 steps. We're going to draw this dumbbell shape with the 3 holes based on this sketch right here. We're going to use this as a reference. Okay, so 4 things we're going to do. All right, let me get my draw key. So we're going to draw this cylinder. Right, if you notice, we have a bottom cylinder, bottom cylinder. Right, we'll draw that first, and then we'll draw the square, the cube on top of that, and then on top of that, we'll draw another cylinder. Okay, so when we're in Fusion, what I like to do is for you guys to work your way from the bottom up, and always on the bottom plane, right? We're always going to work and go up. Draw an arrow there, right? Okay, so if you notice too, it says here, everything, all the dimensions are going to be inches. So we're going to change our unit measurement in case it's millimeter, which I think it is from our last drawing. So I'm going to go here to document settings, expand the arrow, right? Mine's millimeter. So we're going to change it to inches, just like it says here, right? And hover over. Okay, I'm going to change the unit type from millimeters to inches, hit OK. All right, so now we're in inches. Okay, so here, if you notice, the cylinder, I'm looking at the cylinder on this drawing from the bottom cylinder. It looks like it's going to be we're looking at it from the top. It's going to be 1.25 inches. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a component. Just go ahead and new component. Let's start off our drawings as a new component. I know I may have said not to do that, but we're going to go ahead and create new component first. And then we're going to go ahead and name it dumbbell, D-U-M-B-E-L-L with holes. All right, hit OK. So now we're going to draw this from the bottom up, starting with the sketch commands. Okay, in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and create. I'm going to go to sketch, new sketch, and then I'm going to go from bottom to the top. So I'm going to click on the bottom plane right here, left click, and now it's going to give me the bottom view, right? Looking at it from the top of the view cube. Okay, so since we're drawing a cylinder, I'm going to go to create, and I'm going to pick the circle sketch, center point diameter circle. Right, I'm going to left click on the origin, and then I'm going to go out. Right, the diameter is going to be 1.25, enter. Okay, so there's my circle, my 2D sketch of just the circle. I'm going to finish sketch. You can either do it from this box here, or even this icon here, like they do in the video. So now we're going to draw the cylinder. We're going to extrude it, and we're going to go up. I'm looking here on the sketch. We're going to go up. It says here 0.5. That's going to be the height. So I'm going to left click and highlight it, the whole circle, right? Kind of like a darker transparent. I'm going to hit E as the extrude shortcut, and then it's asking me for the distance right here. You can also type it right here, but it's also same here. So I'm going to type in, all right, the distance that we're going to go up is 0.5 inches. So I'm going to type in 0.5, hit enter. Okay, so now we have the bottom of the cylinder. That's the first thing we're going to draw. Okay, so now we're going to draw the box, right? The center part of the dumbbell, right? And so how do we get that measurement? So I'm going to look on this drawing here. right? And I see that it's, you know, if you look at from the top, it's this square that we're going to draw. Okay, so if you notice, um, it's giving me from this dimension. I'm just trying to figure out what it's going to be. And so from here, it looks like, because it says here the distance from here to here is 0.25. So it's probably going to be the exact mirror distance from here to here, 0.25. So it looks like it's going to be, since it's exactly in the center, the distance, the height, the length, and the width is going to be exactly 0.5 long, 0.5 wide, and 0.5 deep. Okay. So that's what our dimensions are going to be. Okay. So now I'm going to click, we're going to draw it. We're going to draw it from the top of this bottom cylinder. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the top view cube, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and create. I'm going to click on create sketch. It's asking me, where do I want to draw it? I'm going to draw it right here. All right. It's asking me where I'm going to draw it on the top of the cylinder. Okay. That's highlighted, right? Top of the cylinder. Right. I'm left clicking it just to make sure that I know that's the active command. It's transparent blue. Then I'm going to go ahead and create. I'm going to create a center rectangle, which is a square. Okay, because it's going to be 0.5 and 0.5, right? 0.5 long and 0.5 wide, right? So I left click on the center rectangle, left click on the center, and then I'm going to type in 0.5 tab 0.5 enter. Okay, so now I have a sketch of a square on top of the cylinder. I'm going to go ahead and click finish sketch, right? And then I'm going to click the home view icon. So I see just on here. So what we're going to do next, we want to extrude this to go up, okay? But only this box, right? If I want to make sure that I'm only going to extrude the center point square, that's 0.5. So I'm going to hover over, make sure it's transparent, blue, then I'm extruded. I'm going to hit E, and then we're going to go up, right? If you click here, right? Okay, we're going to go up. The distance, right? If we notice, okay, so how do we calculate the distance? Let's do that first, all right? So we know that the length of the whole shape is 2.5. We know that the distance from here to here is 0.5. So it's going to be, we're going to subtract the length of the whole distance, subtract 0.25, and then we're going to also subtract 0.25. So 2.5 minus 5 is 2, minus 0.25 is 1.75. Okay, so that is going to be the length of this, the center part, the box of the dumbbell shape, right? Okay, so now back to the extrude up. So it's asking me what's the distance? I'm going to type in here. Oops, let's close that. I'm going to type in 1.75, enter, right? So I'm going to hit the home cue. So be sure your box shape, your rectangle extrudes this way, because let me show you, because I've been practicing myself. So if you click on, click on the top. So if you click on just this, right, and then you hit E for extrude, and then I type the distance 1.75, you end up getting like a socket looking adapter, and that's what you want to do. So that's why you want to highlight just the center sketch, which is the center rectangle, right? So let me undo that, right? I'm going to highlight right inside. Whoop, right inside. So just like that, all right? Left clicked on it, then I hit E. Then I'm going to put the extrude distance, right? You can always move it with your manually, but we want to be precise. So I'm going to type in 1.75. Okay. So that's the second command, the second shape of this cylinder we're going to draw. I'm sorry, the dumbbell shape we're going to draw, right? Right. So there, I'm going to click on this, the home view. So now we're going to draw on top of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the top view, right? And so we're going to assume, because we don't see any other edges on here, we're going to assume the diameter of the top of the dumbbell, the top cylinder, is going to be 1.25 also. Okay, so we're going to create a circle, then extrude it up to this height here. Okay, so the diameter is going to be 1.25, and then here we're going to extruded up 0.25 inches. All right, this is the height is about half the length, half the height of the bottom one, right? This is 0.25, and then the top one is 0.25. This is 0.5, and this is 0.25. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and create the circle. So, but first you got to hit create sketch. I'm going to click on the top plane, right? So I'm going to click. See how it's asking me? Do I want to sketch on the bottom, right, which is the top of the bottom cylinder, or do I want to sketch on top of this cylinder? Okay, if you click on this, it's gonna look it's not gonna look like what we want to draw, right? Let's see. So if I clicked on this and I drew a cylinder, this is the mistake, and I hit create, right? I hit create. Let's see. I'm sorry. Create circle, center diameter circle, right? Left click, go out. We said it's exactly 1.25, just like the bottom one, right? I'm gonna hit finish sketch, and then I'm gonna highlight it. See, if I highlight it, I only do the sketch on the bottom of the cylinder. See that? That's not what we want, because if I hit E, it's just gonna push up that, and we don't want to push up that. Okay. Okay. So hopefully I didn't confuse you. So I'm gonna hit undo. Okay. Okay. So what you want to do when you hit create sketch is you want to just draw the top of the dumbbell shape on top of the box. Okay, so let's click on the top, right? I'm going to click create sketch. Then I'm going to click this right here, right in the center. I'm going to click left click in here because I'm right to highlight. So I want to make sure I'm going to draw on top of this. All right. I'm going to go to create circle. I'm going to choose center diameter circle. Then right in here, left click, and then go out. Type in 1.25, enter. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish sketch. All right. And let's look from the view cube. You should have something that looks like this. Oh, you should have exactly look like this, right? Because I'm going to click on here, right? Highlight, click on here. Actually, what we want to do is extrude. We want the distance to go up both on the outside of this circle that we sketched, and also on the inside. So what I did was I left click on the outside of this circle, and then I put my left finger on the control button, and then I also left click on the square. So that way we know this whole thing will extrude, right? Then I let go, right? Because it's all both are highlighted. Then I typed in E, or you can go here. You can go modify. I'm sorry, create and extrude, right? Let's do that again. So I'm going to left click on to the outer circle. I'm going to left click in here too, right? I'm sorry, let's go back. All right, so what I did was I left click onto the outer circle, and then I put my finger on the control button, and then I left click onto the circle too. And then you can either type E, or you can go create, extrude, and then the distance, just like we see here, is going to be 0.25. Right, I'm going to go ahead, because it's right here, type in 0.25 here or right here. So I'm going to type in 0.25, enter. Oh, nothing happened. There you go. And so that's what the dumbbell shape looks like so far without the holes. Okay, so that's the third part of it. Now the fourth part, the last part, is the holes. Okay, so now I'm going to click on the front view. Okay, and then we're going to work our way from the bottom up on here. Okay. So if you notice, the diameter of all three of these holes are going to be 0.25. Okay, 0.25 through check. That's what it means, right? And then we're also going to use the reference, which is going to be the left side of the box. Okay, so from here, the top of the bottom cylinder up to the center of the bottom hole is going to be half an inch. Okay, and then from here, we know the distance, right? Since it says it up here, right? The distance between the diameter, the center hole, to the edge is going to be 0.25 here on the right. It's going to be the same here. Okay, I'll show you guys in a second. So I'm going to click create hole. right? I'm going to place it here on the bottom, right? By default, my measurements are exactly like what it's supposed to be here, but yours is probably going to be bigger. Okay, so what you want to do first is go down here where it says extent, drop down the distance. You want to make sure it goes all, because we're going to punch this hole all the way through, okay, to the other side of the box. Okay, and then what you want to do is make sure that your hole type is here. All of these are on the left. Hole type is going to be simple. Hole tap type is going to be simple. Go ahead and click on the flat drill type right here on the left. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is put the measurements for the diameter, right? We know the diameter, like it says here, 0.25, right? Mine's ours says 0.25. So I'm going to go ahead and type 0.25. Okay. So yours should change to 0.25. The hole should get smaller. Okay. Now we're going to check now we're going to change the reference, right? It's going to ask us for two sides. For this first one, okay, I'm going to select the left side of the box, right? So I'm going to click select, then I'm going to click here, right? So it's asking me what's the reference distance from here to the center of the hole. And we know it's 0.25 because it says that right up here, right? So I'm going to type in here the distance, right? Right now it says, on mine it says 0.233. We want to tighten that up and make that exactly 0.25, okay? That's the first reference. Now it says select the second reference, right? I want to reference the second distance, right? So right now, right, it's going to be 0.5, right? From the center of this first hole on the bottom, it's going to be exactly 0.5. Mine says if I go from here to here, it's I don't know if you can see it, 0.338. We want to make that exactly 0.5. So I'm going to hit select. Then it's going to select, and then it's asking me, I'm going to click on the bottom, actually the bottom of the box and the top of the cylinder, right there, that edge, right? See, it says 0.336, and I'm sorry, 0.338. I'm going to type in a distance, right here. I can also do it right here. Okay, it's going to be 0.5, just like it says here on the drawing, right? So it moved a little bit. So it's exactly 0.25 from the left side and 0.25 from the bottom of the box. Okay, so I'm gonna hit okay. So that's the first hole. See, it punched right through. I can see it on the other side of the plane. All right, so let's do the other two. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and create hole. And probably by default, you'll probably have the same numbers, but let's see anyway. Okay, so I hit create, I clicked on create hole, left click right there. Okay, so first we're going to make sure we're going to go here under extents, shape settings, drop down to all for the distance. Okay, make sure your diameter here is 0.25, right? It's going to be the same. All three are going to be 0.25 the diameter. Okay, now we're going to have to change the two reference distances here. Okay, so let's select let's select this top one, right? We're going to use this reference here. Okay, so now it's asking, because we know it's going to be the same as the bottom. So we know it's going to be 0.25, right? The distance from here to here to the center of the second hole is going to be this distance, the same distance as from here to here, right? So I'm going to type in 0.25. Okay, so it should move a little bit closer and more center. So now we're going to reference the distance from here, from the center to the bottom of the box, right? So if you look, mine, I have like a little reference. It says like 0.953, right? We want it to be just like the drawing says here. So if we add up 0.5, 0.5, right? From here to here, it's going to be exactly 1. Okay. So I'm going to hit select for the reference. The bottom here, check on this one. And then then it comes up. Mine says 0.53, like, but we're going to change that to exactly 1. We can change it here, or we can change it here. 1. Okay, so see how I moved the hole up? Then I'm going to hit OK, right? So all your shape settings for the hole should be all of them to the right, like just like this. Okay, 0.25 for the diameter right here. Your hole type should be all kind of on the left-hand side. Your extents here should be all. And then your distance is 0.25 from the left edge and 1 inch from the bottom. Okay, hit enter. So now we got one more hole. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and create. Left click hole. Right, so I think the settings are mostly the same. We're going to probably just move the reference edges. Right, I'm going to make sure my distance here is going to all. I'm going to punch the hole all the way through. I'm going to check my diameter here, type 0.25, just like the other two. And now we're going to change the reference on the left side and then from the bottom, right? So if I hit select, click on this side, we know it's 0.25. See where I placed the hole manually, it says 0.225. So we're going to make it, let's type in 0.25. Okay, so see how it moved it? Right now I'm going to check this, I'm going to select this reference from the bottom. So from here, so we know this was 1 inch, right? This was 0.5 from the first hole. From here to here is 1. So from here to here is 1.5, right? 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 is 1.5. So I'm going to hit select, click on the bottom. And then here, right now it's on mine, it shows 1.431. I'm going to change it to 1.5, and then it moves exactly that. And I hit OK. Okay, so that is your dumbbell. We look at it 3D view. So that's what it should look like from the front. Okay, so the next video, I'm going to show you how we're going to put the dimensions on there. What I want you to do is for the next video, for the second part of the assignment is dimension this dumbbell shape as close to, if not exactly, to what this drawing is. Okay.